Wow, I love these mornings. Nice and quiet and peaceful, and all the stuff from my day hasn't hit me yet. Because believe me, it's gonna hit like a ton of bricks. Simplifying my life is actually a pretty strong goal right now. But right now, I have to manage a lot of people and a lot of tasks, and it's a little bit frustrating. It's almost like doing these sideways videos is a mini vacation. So it's time for you to take a mini vacation. What are the things in your life that seriously impact you, draw you down, pull you out of the moment? And is there something you can do about them? A lot of people get tied up in I wants or I needs. And a lot of those needs are programmed. You know, I look at things right now. We have a lot of arguments in the nation about poverty and living standards and living wage and what you need to be a functioning member of society. And wow, that list gets bigger with every freaking commercial someone puts on TV. And it's kind of amazing to me how much how much of a control the consumerist marketplace has on social policy, like the definitions of poverty. I'm not going to say that you shouldn't have a cell phone, but does your life actually end if you don't have one? Like, were we actually alive in the 1980s? You know, a tablet with Wi-Fi means that you can't make a phone call from the middle of a park, unless the park has Wi-Fi. But you can still make a phone call or a video call from your tablet the moment you go to Starbucks. So, you know, tablet versus cell phone. Now you're just getting more expensive. No, I'm not, because you can go get a tablet at Walmart for $50 and it'll function just fine. I've bought a couple of them for the kids and they've lasted through kid abuse for years on end. You know, this is a cheap phone. This is only $300. Do you really need that? Do you really need to spend $50 a month on the phone bill? Is that really a requirement? When I was going through high school, there was this idea that like rent was 30% of your income or something. Rent and utilities. You had food was expected to be a significant portion of your income, and now we complain. People literally complain they can't afford food if it's 10% or 15% of their income. And they're eating out all the time. Like, where's this model come from? What are you thinking about? Food is critical to your health. Maybe that should be a bigger priority in your income. You know, people talk about a living wage and how much you have to spend to earn, how much you have to earn to get this and that. And then the calculations always leave out things like employer-subsidized healthcare. That doesn't count, okay? You have to calculate the minimum wage, hourly wage, assuming that you have to buy your health insurance privately and that no company will ever provide it, which is bogus. That's a bogus calculation. It's just blatantly lying to people. Then there's the idea that people work for an unchanging, no raise, no job performance, no job changes, minimum wage, full time. And I have met exactly 0 people for whom that is the case. Most of the places, so Walmart here, as I record this, minimum wage is I think $8.50, it might be $8.75, might even be $9.25 now. It's in that range here. I've been going between 3 states and I'm got to remember which state I'm in. But the Walmart here in Central Nevada, this is rural Central Nevada with poverty, Walmart pays $12 an hour to someone who stocks the dairy. I think that there are a couple positions where they still only pay $11 an hour starting. And that's much more than minimum wage. You go to Walmart, you don't make minimum wage. You go to McDonald's, you don't make minimum wage. McDonald's here starts at $10.25. And that's pretty low. That's considered kind of crappy. So who's living on minimum wage? I'm not going to say that I'm for or against raising federal minimum wage. Federal minimum wage is extremely low, and most states that have any concerns about it have raised their minimum wage, which is as it should be. California should not determine the federal minimum wage for the rest of the country, nor should New York, nor should Oklahoma, because that would screw everyone in California. Maybe. But California can set their own minimum wage, so that's fine. But the arguments are so biased. You have people who think there should be no minimum wage because any government involvement is bad, and I don't really see that. We started out with anti-monopolistic, anti-corporate laws in the United States a couple hundred years ago, and they were a pretty good thing. It was actually post-Civil War when we started really getting into corporate personhood and really fucking things up. The other side of that is that we have people for whom there is no satisfactory minimum wage. It is never enough. If a state raises it, it is not enough. No matter what they do, it is not enough. That's a problem. There's never a point where you can say, hey, we have a fair minimum wage, because there's going to be that group, that same group that wanted you to raise it before, is going to tell you it's not enough. It's never enough. That means you can't have a realistic conversation or set up realistic expectations. For example, you have to be able to have a $100 a month cell phone plan and cable and Sirius satellite radio and everything else. That's your poverty level stuff, and it's really not, okay? And I'm not saying that Sirius satellite radio subscriptions is for rich people only. I'm just saying that it's not a necessity. It's one of those things that goes into the discretionary budget, where you pick and choose. You don't just automatically deserve everything that catches your eye or that an ad sells you. You pick and choose. I feel like some of the people who make these living wage arguments literally can't budget. It's funny because they talk about being anti-corporate, but they are fully programmed by the consumerist corporations to believe that they automatically deserve anything they're sold. Total freaking mental robotic programming. It's amazing to me to watch it. And maybe you need to look at it in yourself. How much are you being sold? How much of your life, how much of your livelihood is being taken from you by this? I have met people who work at Walmart who have bought houses with families. It's possible. It's just a matter of deciding what your importances are. You know, I've got nothing for you beyond that. What are your importances? What are you being sold? I know people down south in Arizona who are living very effective, functional, healthy, like I shop at REI and I hike and I kayak lives on $1,200 a month. Fixed incomes. It's all about priorities. What are you programmed to need? And how does that affect your life? And what does that take away from your life? Think about that a little today and stay sideways.